Hello, Mr. Ho. Thank you for letting me interviewing you today regarding Erikson's psychosocial stages of development. The purpose of this interview is for you to demonstrate your understanding of the theory and how the theory applies to you and students you currently teach or plan to teach. My first question is, imagine I have never heard of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. Briefly explains salient features of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. What is the source of this information?
Based on the research I found from simplypsychology.com, I found out Erik Erikson was a German psychologist. He developed a theory called psychosocial development. It's all human beings gone through 8 distinctive stages throughout their life, from birth to childhood. During each this stage, we have different needs, and they are not met, you will have positive and also negative outcome on our personality development. The first stage is trust versus mistrust. As infant, we ask if we can trust people, trust the world, and if we can trust people, we will develop confidence. If we experience fear, we will develop mistrust to the world. And in this stage, the most important role will be mother and caretaker. The second stage is autonomy versus shame and doubt. The child at this point is developing physical ability and mobility, moving around, trying new things. At this stage, it's very important for parents allow them to explore and don't criticize them too much, because they need to feel adequate about themselves and feel safe about their ability. So at this point of their life, parent support is must. Stage 3 is initiative versus guilt. At this age, usually around between 4 to 5 years old, we try out new things. We learn things like how circular things with roll, and we try and it's okay to do things that we do. And if we got support from our family, we feel confidence and develop a much more positive outcome for life. Stage 4 is industrial versus inferiority. It's usually around age 5 to 12. At this stage, we start to develop interest, wondering if we can make it to the world. If we do have a lot of positive feedback from our teachers, we become hardworking. If we received too much negative feedback, we feel inferior about our ability and influenced by our peer also at this stage. Stage 5 is identity versus role confusions. It's adolescent age between 13 to 19. At this stage, we start to find out our identity. We can be students, we can be friends, we can develop a lot of different interests. If our parents allow us to go out and try different things, we feel confidence. But if they restrict us to their point of view and doesn't allow us to do things that we want, we feel like confused. And at this stage, we also follow a lot of idols and people we admire. Stage 6 is intimacy with isolation. It's early adulthood between 20 to 40 years old. At this stage, we ask ourselves, can we love? Can we form a long-term relationship? If this intimacy can be met, we find our partner, we feel happy and have positive outlook in our life. But if we cannot find intimacy at this stage, we feel isolated. We at this stage will be mostly influenced by the partner and our friends. Stage 7 is generativity with stagnation. At this stage of our life, we start to develop interests outside of work and start to shift the focus to the next generation and develop parenthood. If we can do that, we feel happy about ourselves, and if we cannot resolve any problem we had previously, we feel stuck and also feel pessimistic about life. At this stage of our life, we're mostly influenced by our family and also our peer and people at work. The last stage is ego integrity versus despair. It is 65 years old above and all the way to death. At this stage, people living a retired life and look back to our life and ask if we have contribution to the society and to other people. If we feel good about ourselves, it becomes wisdom. But if we feel like we don't have contribution to the society, we feel grumpy and also despair.
My second question is, at what stage of development do you see yourself now? Why do you think so?
I think currently I'm at stage 7, general activity with stagnation. I fit into the age group 40 to 65, and I also feel like currently I'm very comfortable with life and already developing my own passion and hobbies, and want to give back to the next generation by being a teacher and help our next generation to grow in the classroom setting.
My next question is, explain how being at this stage of development may influence your behavior and outlook in your classroom. On what do you base this explanation?
Being on stage 7, I feel like it really helped me as a teacher because I feel like I'm their parent. If I have a kid myself like years ago, and my kid would be their age, and at this stage I feel like I'm more patient and I feel more caring and to the students I have. I think it really affect me positively in classroom as a teacher at this stage.
My question number 4 is, identify at what level your students are and are likely to be at in Erikson stages.
I believe most of my students would fall under age 5, which is under the adolescent, which is identity versus role confusion. Most of my students in high school between 14 to age 18.
Question number 5. Explain how being at this stage of development may influence their behavior and outlook in your classroom. On what do you base this explanation?
I think being at this stage of their life, most of my students, they're really thinking ahead, especially when they're searching for their own identity. A lot of them already thinking ahead, planning a career in the future. And most of the students who sign up my class, graphic art and yearbook, they already have something in mind, whether it is computer related or art related subjects. So most of my students over the last 15 years are really good and career oriented. So this is all based on my personal experience, and I can tell being at this stage really helped me help my students in my classroom.
Number 6. What might be some disconnects between you and your students, keeping the differences in the 2 stages in mind?
When I first started to teach, my age wasn't that far off from the from my students, but I felt like I was a big brother to them. But after like 16 years teaching, this disconnect happens right now. Is feel like I'm their parent, because I could be their parent. I'm their parents' age. So a lot of time when I tell them to do certain things or suggest them to do things, they feel like it is their parent telling them, because we are really similar at age. So sometimes when a student, they do not have good relationship with their family, with their parent, a lot of time they will also have receipts from me, because feel like, I'm representing, those faults from the family. So this is one of the disconnect I would think at this stage.
The last question, any final comments?
My final comment is these lessons been really helpful and very beneficial for me to learn my stage, and also my student stage, knowing their needs and what need to be supported. Thank you very much.